want to do any of
Oh no,
if I do
oh
this,
no,
then I'll have people
oh no,
ask
oh
me for more. Yep.
Oh no, oh no. Let's talk about resistance. So I've been praying all day because in January I filled out all of the van requests that I would need for the year, and then I saved them to my drafts. And so yesterday I went over to the vehicle pickup place. There was no van. And so I realized that I had never sent the draft from January. So I talked to the vehicle guys and they said they should have a van ready for me. So we'll see if we have a vehicle to go to Indiana with. We're gonna find out in a minute. Success. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. I recently experienced one of the greatest periods of resistance in my life. Resistance has blocked my path in the past, but for 6 days in March of 2023, resistance not only showed up, but it brought a sleeping bag and a tent and camped out in my life for 144 short hours that felt like an eternity. The crew left for Indiana on a sunny Thursday afternoon, itinerary dotted and crossed and hyperlinked with every Google Map location necessary. We had 2 interviews and multiple film shoots scheduled over the next 5 days. Less than 4 hours into the trip, my stomach betrayed me. A mere 2 minutes away from the nearest gas station in the ruralest part of Tennessee. I thought at the time that would be the most embarrassing thing that would happen on the trip. On the bright side, once I got things squared away, we drove to our first stop and I got to hug my sister and my niece before our crew continued down the road. Our hotel was in the central time zone and we had to be awake early Friday morning to pick up my friend Adam from the airport, located in Eastern time. And right, 11:15
Indianapolis is in Eastern time.
Yeah.
And Nashville is in Central Time.
And it's 4.5 hours.
It's Central Time, so we're gonna pretend it's 10:30, so to speak. It's 10:30.
Yeah, 12
right?
hours from now.
And so,
but that
in
means
the best case, if it's 4 hours.
4.5. I'm saying 4.5.
Okay, 4.5.
Yeah.
Right.
We leave here at 6, which is 7
at
o'clock.
6. Okay.
I don't think we should leave at 5. We get up
we
at
shouldn't
5.
leave at 5.
Yeah.
I agree, but I'm just saying.
This was after Adam changed planes 3 times and spent 18 hours in either an airport or on a plane. Something we haven't told the camera yet is that we are flying Adam from Arizona to Indiana to surprise them tomorrow. On the way there, we got to pick Adam up at the airport. However, he just texted me, flight delayed from Durango.
Hey man, how you doing?
Hey, are you at the airport?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you been there very long?
Not horribly. Maybe an hour.
I'll text you as soon as I wake up tomorrow just to be like,
Okay.
if I don't see anything on my phone, I'm assuming that you're all hunky-dory.
Right.
You know.
Text you, don't feel like you have to respond.
Okay. When he texted me like half an hour ago in the car, and I was like trying not to tell everybody. We were late picking him up from the airport, thanks to my health continuing to decay. Adam's only slept about 45 minutes in the last 24 hours, so... On the bright side, we successfully surprised Adam's parents that Friday afternoon, and our housing arrangements for the weekend were incredible. Okay, so we have Adam. We've picked him up. We figured out how we're going to try to surprise his parents. Whether or not that is a surprise remains to be seen, but you will find out very soon because I'm gonna turn the camera real fast. It's gonna cut to us being at his church. You ready? We are here. We are at North Liberty Baptist Church, Reverend Wayne Joyner, and we're gonna try to surprise him with his son, and then surprise his wife as well.
His son's back there. You can't tell.
He's there.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
I'm
David.
Nice to meet you, sir.
you.
This is Will, one of my
Hi, Will.
cameramen.
Hi. Nice
This
to
is
meet you.
Zach, another guy.
Zach.
And then Chantel, she takes
Hi,
my still
Chantel.
photos.
Yeah,
So I got the whole crew with me.
Wayne Joyner.
So
Glad
awesome.
to meet you.
Yeah, glad we're able to be here.
Yeah.
The sun came out, so it's not
Oh,
quite
yeah.
as cold.
It's crazy
But,
Indiana weather.
Yeah. Well, can we just come in and see
Oh, yeah, you
everything?
come-
And then
come on.
Will's gonna shoot some stuff outside.
Oh, that's
so
fine,
Then he'll
yeah.
come in later.
To North Liberty First Baptist Church.
It's really pretty.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I love it. When did you first come?
We came in April of 2000. So we're on 23rd year.
23rd year. And you were a pastor somewhere before that?
Well, yeah, prior to coming here, I was in youth ministry for about 20 years.
Okay.
When I graduated from BJ, I was working with the church on the weekends in Lawrence, South Carolina, Faith Baptist Church, with Dr. John Waters. And so when I graduated, my wife and I, when we graduated, they asked me to stay on, permanently as a youth pastor, and she taught in the school. And we were there 1 year, and then we left from there, and we went to my hometown, Franklin, Virginia. A BJ church planter had planted the church there, and he needed assistance while we were waiting for him. What are you doing?
Hey! Good to see you. I've been all over the country to be here.
Yeah, you were in California.
You've been dressed up.
Well, semi.
I like it.
You were in California, and now you.
Last week, yeah.
Surprise.
Did you?
They covered the cost.
They hit you.
So some really generous grads in both Indianapolis and South Bend put us up for the weekend, and so we were able to take that budget and put it towards getting out of mountain.
So I flew to Phoenix last night, and then red-eyed to Charlotte, and then Charlotte to Indy, and then they picked me up in Indy.
Wow. So when I called you, he was in the car.
I was trying to be quiet.
He was sitting right next to me. You can just go in and get her.
Yeah.
And someone can follow me up onto the porch with a camera, and then someone else can follow Pat.
Drive home and tell her that
The crew's coming.
that the crew's going to be here in a couple of minutes, and when they do, they want you to come out to the
Come up the front to give you something.
give you something.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. Whatever it is, I'll be in the back.
Well, if I get in, put the garage door down, and start talking to her casually, said, hey, it's going to be maybe a few minutes. And
No, it's right here to your right.
Oh.
So I guess he parked on. That's fine. It'll work.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, you'll pull him where you are.
Well, I guess I can pull.
She still can't see me.
I can pull pretty far forward, right?
Yep.
And you could actually duck down and go up to the garage.
I'm gonna go, and I'll turn around.
All right, and I'm following you.
You can. I'll get out quickly. Just drink your coffee.
Okay. I'm gonna say something for you. That sound good?
Sure.
You can actually come around whenever you want.
Yeah. I'll do you, boo.
come on, you guys want to come on in?
Sure.
This is my wife, Jody.
Hi, I'm David.
You're Dave.
David.
It's nice to meet you.
Hi there.
He's
I'm
got
Zach.
fuzzy, he's got fuzzy nose.
Yeah, and this
That's
is
right,
Chantel. She takes my pictures. And this is Adam.
What are you doing here?
Surprise.
Oh, this is a riot.
Did you?
Huh?
Did you know I was coming?
How would I know
I
you're
don't know. Like we were trying to be sneaky. Dad
Did
didn't
he
know.
know?
No.
Well,
we
then how would I
surprised
know?
Surprised him. So.
That's crazy.
Surprise.
Surprise.
I don't have a place to sleep, but I'm here.
But I was beginning to worry that I wouldn't have the necessary energy to do my job that weekend. We had dinner at a Mexican restaurant, and I almost didn't make it back to where we were staying in time to use the bathroom. The next day was Saturday, and we had 2 interviews and a lot of driving to do in between. Our first interview was incredible. I could not believe the experience I had while talking with Pastor Joyner and his family. After finishing up the filming we needed for that session, we packed up and headed off to the next interview. I was planning to purchase some over-the-counter pills to help stave off the urgency my stomach was experiencing before we truly got on the road. But we barely made it 2 minutes away from the church before I stopped the van suddenly and ran into the woods with 2 small napkins in my hand. Embarrassed is not an accurate word for how I felt. At least this time, my pants were still clean. The wind and snow were insane on our way to our second interview. So much so that the visibility on the road became dangerous, and our progress slowed to a crawl. On the bright side, we stopped for some cool pictures and videos. Hey, we're in Miami. Someone should have shot that sign. It said Miami. So this is Miami. I don't know if you guys can see the white sand. Beaches are beautiful here this time of year. And we are on our way to Atlanta, actually. And hopefully the weather will be better there. I don't know if it'll be warmer or colder, but we're going to find out.
What in the world? Am I messing up your shot? I'm sorry.
Chantel and her bare feet.
Am I messing up your shot? I'm sorry. I just had to document.
I want him to go
Okay.
forward and go past it. That's all.
Chantel.
So
What?
I was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and this is just, it's not bad. I think it's above
bad.
like 25, so it's not bad.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Sure.
Whatever you say. That's insane. I'm like intimidated. I'm like, wow.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'll say my hands are cold though.
Okay, her hands are cold.
My hands are a little bit chilly.
She's not completely like soulless. She feels a little bit. I'll tell David to drive. That's what you want him to do?
Yeah.
Okay. She wants you to pull forward. She's insane.
I know.
She's like, my hands are cold. And I'm like, well.
We were late to the second interview as a result of the weather. And much to our surprise, the house where we were planning on filming the interview had a pipe burst a few months ago and was completely torn apart. I'm David.
Hi, David. Blair.
Nice to meet you, Blair. This is Will.
Hey, Will.
Camera 2.
Nice to meet you.
This is Zach, camera 1.
Hey, buddy.
And then Chantel shoots my photos.
Hi, Chantal. Hi.
So. Hey.
A little bit kinky coming down.
Yeah, so right where Grissom and the
Yeah.
prison are,
Yeah.
it was just like a whiteout.
Really?
And it wasn't an issue for us because I saw there was a delay on Google Maps, so I took some state roads.
Okay.
But a couple people had gone off.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a bunch of police out there slowing traffic down.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to do anything today here.
Yeah.
Actually, I woke up, I was like, oh, it's kind of whitish.
The wind buffeted us outside as we tried to capture footage to fill out the project, and we had to completely rearrange the already rearranged house to build a set fit for recording. Will worked his magic, and the setting was incredible, and the conversation with Blair was encouraging beyond belief. Having successfully accomplished 2 interviews in the span of 8 hours, we headed back north to our lodging. We ordered a pizza to pick up when we got back to the city of South Bend, and began driving out of the sun and into a snowstorm. I was going to say, when it starts snowing, it really does start to become just survive, don't worry about.
Yeah, speed no longer matters. It's just
stopping, red lights, like when it's snowing hard, just survive. And everybody kind of understands that. And while exiting the highway and slowing down, the hill on the off-ramp had ice on it, and instead of pumping the brakes, I pressed down slowly.
Even like 700 or something is still like technically low. So it's like sweet. I was like, alright, I'm like, first wedding, like gonna be good money, and then to get in the filter. But it's kind of fine, because still at the end of the day, I was like, I don't really want to do weddings.
Oh no,
if I do this, then I'll have people ask me for more. Yep.
Oh no. We are sliding. Gosh.
Is what it is.
Can I see someone over there?
You're good.
All right.
You handled that.
Oh, you're going again.
Yep.
You handled that pretty well, though.
Immediately, the damage to the vehicle was obvious. There was even a helpful little light that appeared on the dashboard that notified me the car is now swerving. Oh, it says swervy car on the dashboard. Can anybody get that light? Actually? It might be, yeah. We limped the vehicle back to the house, pizza in tow, and spent the night determining a game plan for the next day.
You didn't crash, did you?
So funny story. I still have a drivable vehicle, but I need to know if I can get an alignment somewhere. It's probably going to be a better chance in South Bend, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking, do you know the place to get a car alignment? On a Saturday night?
Or a Sunday afternoon.
Or a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Look at the wheels.
Anyways, sorry for calling you at 7:45 on a Saturday, and don't feel like, oh, you have to call me back if you don't know anything. I just thought I'd try the person who lives here. So, anyways, have a good evening.
You can see how bent the wheel is. Like the other tire is like flush, and this wheel is just...
My pride clung to the flagpole, shredded beyond recognition, and I began to slip into an old stress habit of stuttering while trying to assess the situation. I even had a moment where I thought I was going to throw up from all the stress and adrenaline of the wreck. Sunday passed without too much incident, thanks to the kindness of several friends in the area. Monday morning, I managed to get the van to a service shop and spent 3 hours waiting for a decision on how to proceed.
I need 2 tie rods, right front strut, 2 wheels, right front lower control arm, and the whole rear axle assembly.
Okay.
We're looking at about $3,500 plus tax.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's let me make one phone call. Then I spent 3 hours trying to find a rental car that would be able to take us home. And by, quote, spent 3 hours, I really mean that I spent 6 hours Googling, making phone calls, and sending text messages to make sure all my bases were covered, all my crew could get home in a timely manner, and finding a rental company that was willing to let us drive a car from South Bend to Greenville, South Carolina without returning it. It wasn't easy, and I began stuttering again. It wasn't until my wife did a quick search online while on the phone with me that we found a place that would let us drive a rental car one way. On a side note, I firmly believe that rental location did not exist before we arrived and vanished into thin air after we left. Miracles still happen, and that, indeed, was a miracle. We were finally on the road home, and after my sister's church let us stay overnight at their campground for free, we arrived home one day later than originally planned. On top of all that, I found out that while I was gone, my daughter was refusing to go to bed, and my wife had a terrible sickness that started the hour after I left, and her mom had to spend the night while I was on the road just to make sure my daughter was okay and being fed. Since I am being fully transparent in this video, right now is a good time to tell you that I seriously contemplated quitting my job multiple times during this 6-day period. If that sounds like I'm being a tad bit dramatic, it's probably because it is. But I am not lying when I say that at the time, during it, the idea of answering phone calls from home for 8 hours a day and never trying to drive anywhere never sounded more appealing. This has been one of the most stressful things I've ever tried to do. I have never been more discouraged. This trip, this project, is quite literally probably top 3, top 4 hardest things I've ever done. But if I had done that, I would be giving up and letting resistance win. And I can't have that. Stephen Pressfield covers the topic of resistance extensively in his book, The War of Art. For our purposes today, I'll give you my summary of his conclusions. This does not mean that you shouldn't read his book, however. It's a must-read for anyone who has an inkling of what God is calling them to do, but feels like there's an insurmountable obstacle in the way. Before I summarize my thoughts about resistance, I must acknowledge the people that blessed me during this intense time of resistance. Brandon Hamilton picked Adam up in Kokomo, Indiana, and took him to the airport for us. Our host family provided shelter, hospitality, and true rest when my crew and I needed it the most. The Joyner and Fry's families welcomed us and blessed us by sharing their lives with us in such an encouraging way. Adam Joyner encouraged me in the few short minutes we spent talking with each other in between film sessions, and I know my crew was blessed while fellowshipping with him as well. My wife was willing to listen to me whine every time I called her. Jake in transportation answered my phone calls about the wrecked university vehicle when he was supposed to be on vacation with his kids. The people at Gates Toyota and Gates Body Shop in South Bend, Indiana were friendly and kind to this stressed out sick person. Sean Alexander went out of his way to make sure we had what we needed, going above and beyond anything I could have expected. Tammy Jordan, my online friends, and the alumni relations team all prayed for us throughout the entirety of the trip. Will brought his never-ending energy to the team and kept us all motoring at a high level. Chantel let us know she wasn't afraid to run with the boys and kept us all laughing. Zach came alongside me in the moments I was at my lowest and did whatever he could to let me know that it was worth it to keep moving forward. I'm forever in their debt and forever grateful for the role they played in this chapter of my life. You can fully expect to experience resistance anytime you put your mind and body to the purpose of making something. Once you begin your efforts, resistance will arrive. Anything worth doing will elicit resistance. I did not recognize it in this way until a few years ago, but every day I am more convinced that you cannot truly accomplish anything without experiencing and overcoming resistance. Resistance is one of my favorite subjects. Resistance works with me while working against me. What could be better than to receive immediate feedback that confirms that the efforts I'm putting forth is worth it? Every time you feel that pushback, embrace it. Press forward. Lean in. Nothing worthwhile happens without resistance.